You know what? I planned something today. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to do it in a slightly different context. I wasn't sure if I would do this angry or if I'd do it feeling something else. I'm going to do this with a more remorseful feeling. Some of you will like this for drama, but I actually don't feel the drama in doing this. I have on the right Fubgun's League Start Guide for its elemental hits of the Spectrum Deadeye. I have on my left my build, the elemental hits Spectrum Warden. And I'm going to do what he and his posse crew love to do.
My posse crew? Who's my posse crew?
To my build, and the other one, and whatever. I'm talking about Ruetoo, Jungrown. You know, those guys that just like to eat people.
Fuck, I'm with Ruetoo and Jungrown? Oh no, dude. I'm labeled with the bad boys now. The bad boys of PoE. I'm labeled with Ruetoo and Jung.
I'm going to go through his POB and I'm going to tear it apart. I'm going to rip it to shreds. Because I can. Because I know this archetype inside and out. So any funny business, anything he does on here that looks stupid, I'm going to talk about it. He attempted to do that with my build. He said a couple things, but man, I don't really agree with him. He only spent like 2 minutes on it. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So here we go. A long time ago, when I started making builds, I was told that you must check Guardian Pinnacle Boss. If you don't do this, you are misleading your viewers. Every path of building must be set to bossing. I used to set my builds for no, because I was like, this is not a bossing build, I'm just killing monsters. And then I started setting a standard boss, and then I got ripped to shreds again, because it's not a real boss. So I put it on Pinnacle Boss.
I'm gonna have to kind of like lean on agreeing with Fubgun on this one though, because from my experience, as much as like I think Snoobae is like a great guy or whatever, he has always made an effort to deceive people through very deceptive configurations in his path of buildings. And then his argument has always been that like, oh, I don't do bosses, so why would I check Shaper boss? No, it's not about what you do. It's about using POB as a tool for like relative comparison to everybody else, right? It's not about what you do. And Connor Converse does the exact same fucking thing. And I criticize him for the exact same thing. So don't pretend like this is like a Snoobae only issue, right? But it's like, you know what would help? Like, people are not gonna talk shit about you if you put in the effort to not be deceptive. Like, I don't personally go out of my way to like target people and call them out for things. So it's not like I'm sitting here saying that like I condone or agree with people like bullying each other on League Start. But to some extent, I'm sitting here and I'm saying like, I mean, he's right.
So why, when I open his POB, it's fucking set to standard boss? Why? All the way to the headhunter buff. This right here is the biggest red flag I could possibly imagine. This is set to standard boss, not Guardian Pinnacle Boss. So, I mean, the entire path of building just gets thrown out the window for that. Because when Ruetoo looked at my path of building before, that's exactly what he did. I saw his reaction. He looked at this and he was like, nope, not even worth looking at. I don't know what the fuck's he doing. Whatever. So how do you like them apples? So first thing we're going to do.
Fubgun's POB is garbage. Snoobae called them out. Your POB is garbage, Fub. Fucking little patter. Little POB patter, bro. Little POB patter. Holy.
Is set his POB properly to Guardian. The second thing is, why is he hiding his numbers? Where's the damage numbers? Is he too chicken to hit this? What, does he not want somebody to actually go through and critique the numbers? What even is this? Wow, 6-link. Interesting. A build guide with 6-link. Hold on, let me make sure we're in the good place here. How far back do I have to go where it's not a 6-link? So I gotta go down to here. All the way to starter. What is this? Let's see here. Is this level 95 starter? Level 95. Okay, no crazy outlier uniques. That's fine. Good. Hey, you know what? There's actually something I really like about this build. I like the choice of inertia. Respect where respect is due. I mean, the only creative bone in this entire POB's body is this gem choice, I guess. But that's fine. You know, bows or whatever. I don't expect him to actually, you know, go through and make some interesting, cool new ideas, revisit it in any serious way. He's just going to min-max it with zero creativity. That's fine. Wouldn't expect anything else. Uh-oh, I see a problem. My guy, you don't have endurance charges on a boss. You're wearing Darius' Defiance. You would never have one. So that's misleading. Whoops, what happened to your EHP? Oh, it went down. Hey, it's beating me though. Beating my HP EHP at 4,500. Hold on a second. You got Steel Skin enabled? I remember Ruetoo looking at my POB when I had what was it called? What's the other one? Not Steel Skin. It's escaping me, top of my head. The one with endurance charges. Immortal Call, that one, my favorite. I wasn't allowed to have Immortal Call check, so he's not allowed to have a 33% uptime Steel Skin check. Sorry, you don't get that. 5,800, 4,500. Starting to look kind of similar now. Whoops. Blood Stance. He literally didn't even put the right stance in. That's just lazy. I have to fix his POB for him. Are you fucking kidding me? He decided to put Flesh and Stone while in Blood Stance, or takes enemies up, or makes enemies take up to 20% more physical damage. This got changed recently. I know for an absolute fact, because I know this archetype and know this build very well, that there's no way in hell he means to have Blood Stance in it. He means Sand Stance for some extra defensive. So let's actually give him the right buff by putting Sand Stance in. You might want to... This is actually something he probably should go into his... and reset his POB and like copy paste it in his guide, because he's actually selling himself short. Not sure why. Cook your own stuff. Let Fub do whatever he wants. I would, except he opened my POB and attempted to rip it to shreds in the middle of his stream earlier. So he's going to get his. Sorry. Now, if he didn't bother making a bow build league starter for a build he's not even playing, then we wouldn't be doing this. If he was sticking with what he's doing,
I mean, it's the same build.
Time and effort into that.
It's the same
build for which I don't know much about. I can't critique it, and I wouldn't, because that would be totally out of place.
Here's the thing. If you don't know what you're talking about, guys, it's okay to say you don't know. It doesn't mean you're dumb. Okay, it just means you don't care about that thing. You know, you shouldn't talk about the things that you don't know. True. All right. That's why you never hear Fubgun talking about women, or going on dates, or touching a vagina, or sucking the milk out of a nipple that's not his mom's. Lactation. The female form. What is a woman?
But he decided that he wanted to make a build that effectively competes with the build I'm doing, and I'm in part showcasing the differences in the build, unbiased by the way, but stripping both POBs down to their max, and I'm going to show you guys firsthand exactly the differences in the build. This is intimate, deep knowledge of both builds. I'm expressing all the knowledge that I have
missing a lot of knowledge.
And you get to see both POBs stripped down to their max. I think this is incredibly valuable for you guys. It's not just out of spite or for revenge or vengeful or whatever. It might be part of a secondary motivation. But I don't operate, again, I don't operate on selfish motivations exclusively. I will do things that are arguably selfish if I can also justify doing them for a good purpose as well. That's how I sleep easy at night. So when I go to bed tonight, I go to bed with a smile on my face because I know I was helping the community out at the same time. Revenge is the icing on the cake. Very well put. Now let's look at my weaknesses first. My weakness is most obviously max fizz hit, okay? Everybody loves to focus on this, as if the six portal defensive layer means nothing. Suffice it to say, he's a player who cares more about defense than I do. Overall, he cares about not getting one shot more than I do. And so this is a difference in preference, basically. And I think, I recall him being a lot more comfortable with glass cannon builds before, but, again, once you start hanging out with, like, the different crowd of racers and all that stuff, they heavily prioritize the defensive layers on pinnacle bosses and all that stuff, even on a bow build, which doesn't really give a shit about that kind of thing, I would think, in most cases. So, yeah. But this should paint a pretty good picture for those of you who are, like, on the fence. I know there's a lot of you who are interested in playing Elemental of the Spectrum, and you're wanting to, like, figure out which one is better. And if I don't do things like this, people may not take me seriously. They may not, think, oh, well, Fubgun is more popular. He says it's this, therefore it's this. So I don't mind putting in the extra time and effort and work to actually grind it out and see what's proper on the stream. And I'm not being biased. I know it sounds like I was maybe being a little mean to him, but that's the vengeful side kicking in for when he and his buddies constantly do that to me for several leagues now, actually. I've never really done this on stream before. Gone through and, like, just ripped a POB to shreds. I did this because they do this to me. This was not me firing shots first. For many leagues now, both Fubgun and his friends have had opportunities to look at my path of building. They've been recommended from other people. Other people in the chat say, hey, have you seen Snooze POB? Check it out. And they fucking tore it to shreds many times. This is well known in the community that they have a tendency to do this. Now, I happen to have the power and knowledge to dish it out back to them in this case, in this example. I don't go out of my way to learn everything about the game. I respect the fact that Junggrown, Ruetoo, and even Fubgun know a lot about the game and a lot of different builds. Kudos to them. But if they're going to ruthlessly, toxically shred POBs apart from people I know, friends of mine, other content creators, and myself, they can fucking get it right back where it came from. If I have the opportunity. They need to know what it feels like to have that happen. And they need to recognize that it's not healthy for the community. So this is not a good thing to do. This is not something I want to repeat. I don't think the drama is good for the community. And I don't ever want to have to do this again. But because I can, I did. And I'm not going to be bullied by anyone. Because I know my shit. I know what I know. And I don't know what I don't know. And they know what they know. And they don't know what they don't know. It goes for everybody. You basically can't even rip my POV apart. There's almost nothing you can do. I put way too much work and effort in playing and refining it and now revisiting it and working on it again. This is like Pox level Righteous Fire fucking discipline level path of building for this build. It has 4 core variants of endgame with fucking massive pages of notes and huge setup for leveling trees.
Why didn't you just do this? Like, what the fuck? Like, why did you take a mastery to cap your suppression if you suppressed recently when you could just click the suppression node? It's like stuff like that. That's like how are you playing this game, bro? You're like a chess player who doesn't know what a pawn does. You seem like when a cat plays chess and they just knock the pawn over, that's what you are to me, man. How are these people like real, man? Like, how are these people real, man? Like, this is their crew. I know I'm gonna call out their crew. Local Hall, Subtractum, Captain Lance, and Snoobae. All 4 of you guys are mental, bro. You guys are mental. You guys say stuff like this, and it's just crazy. Like, I still remember the day where I'm sitting here and Subtractum's calling himself the build-making goat. And Captain Lance is telling everyone that he invented every single build in the game and how they're like the greatest ever to fucking like walk on this fucking planet. And fucking Ben is just sitting here is like, how am I gonna win the next race? He doesn't even say any of that stuff. The man just wins, right? And these people are just so fucking delusional. And then like, it's just like what the fuck am I like listening to every fucking league, man?
A little uncomfortable with the way people were, you know, heralding me as like the fucking messiah of magic finding and all this shit. You guys remember this? Like, people, when it came to magic finding, it was like, oh my god, I was like leaps and bounds above anyone else in terms of, you know, if I said this about magic finding, it reverberated throughout the cosmos.
Hold up.
Konnichiwa, Gooners. I'm the Magic Find Messiah. Stand with me.
Why is that so good?
Hey, why doesn't Fubgun use a face cam? You know why? Because he's a fat YouTuber. That's why.
And one outbound arrow and the secondary product. But it's important not to actually target him. You want to target past him and then drag your cursor in real quick. That's how you really shotgun with tornado shot.
Yes, Snoop, because dragging your cursor in gives you a higher chance to hit the target with your...
A little bit of a secret to do that. Let me see if I can show you guys.
A little bit of a
You stand up
secret.
basically on him. I'm gonna start attacking him here. Okay, I'll pick it up.
And I'm not afraid to call people out on them. Snoobae is delusional as fuck. Subtractum was delusional as fuck. Lance is delusional as fuck. Connor's pretty delusional too. Like, all of these guys are just really, really delusional, and I'm not afraid to say it, right? And I'm not afraid to say it. I'll call you guys out all day.
I don't want to be the guy that steals stuff and then make it worse. Mr. 9 lives? No. Wasn't there a tripolar bear meme? Tripolar bear cutting the damage and defenses of every build in half?
The only person I would shit talk is Lance, because I feel like that's not controversial, because he just stands in his hideout all day. That's like, you can't really, you can't harm somebody that doesn't play the game anymore, right?
Matter. Here's the honest, my opinion on the matter. Snoobae, here's my message to you. If you really care about the bow archetype, like genuinely, that's what you love inside your heart, I applaud that, right? But if you really want to do the right thing and you love the bow archetype, you would tell everyone not to play your build and to play Fubgun's build if you really love the archetype, because then they would actually like the game and they would have a better time. If you really cared about the bow archetype. And that's truth.
Yeah, I heard from a lot of people that Snoobae likes little kids. Yeah, it's like, it's not credible sources too.